Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. The dream of a Southwest Youth Emergency Shelter was realized in 2016, and after opening its doors to youth in January, the board has now come forward, saying it's facing a financial crunch for its day-to-day operations and will be closing Dorys House. The federal government's proposed tax changes for small businesses continues to be the talk of the town. And as the deadline approaches for public consultation, the Swift Current Chamber of Commerce partnered with Myers Norris Penny for a noon-hour information session on the issue. The Fall Brawl was a first for Swift Current in Saskatchewan, as an amateur boxing event was held outdoors at a baseball field. Thanks for joining us here today. Dorys House is set to close its doors in Swift Current on October the 4th. We find out why in today's top story. The dream of a Southwest Youth Emergency Shelter was realized in 2016, with the sod turned in Swift Current in early July, followed by its grand opening in November. A community-driven project which was constructed through cash and donations of labor and supplies from businesses across the Southwest. And after opening its doors to youth in January, the board has now come forward, saying it's facing a financial crunch for its day-to-day operations and will be closing Dorys House.
The staffing cost obviously is a significant part of the cost, and so that's kind of what we've gone to government with. Is we've said, look, the community built this building without government really putting anything into it. We built this building. We can operate this building. We have a board of directors. It's a volunteer board of directors, so we operate it entirely as a volunteer board. It's been built with completely donated labor and a lot of donated materials, and we have a staff that's a group of fantastic people that are willing to put everything they can into it. And we have a community that continues to support it with food donations, clothing, household supplies, all kinds of donations that come in. Really, it would be in the range of $25,000 to $30,000 per month. Which is a significant cost. I think in terms of the big picture of government budget is not necessarily a particularly significant cost, but that's the range of money we would be looking at.
Hale adds that layoff notices have been given to the 15 staff at Dorys House, with hopes of rehiring them once the financing is secured to reopen the facility. A worthy service, which has already assisted numerous youth from across the Southwest.
We've been well over 25 youth. We're well over 500 bed stays at this point in time. Again, since those numbers came out, we maybe are even starting to push 600 bed stays. So what I mean by that is the number of kids that were in a bed per night. So that's well over 500 nights that a young person was here, safe, healthy, protected, with food in the fridge and a hot shower in the morning, and some staff with some direction and guidance in terms of where things can go to get back on track. In addition to that, we've had well over 20 other connections with young people that did not result in a bed stay. So kids are coming here, and they're coming here for a variety of reasons.
Now, as the board of the Southwest Youth Emergency Shelter tries to find funding for its day-to-day operations, it will keep the lines of communication open with the province, including this impromptu visit by Social Services Minister Paul Merriman.
We're not looking at any budget decisions right now. I'm just trying to get a feel for what's happening out in the levels or in the communities as far as Moose Jaw. I've been up in Saskatoon, obviously my hometown, heading to Humboldt, just finding out what's happening at the local level, what programs are working, what ones we can help out with, and what ones that we could be helping a little more efficient.
A valued service to local youth, and one which the City of Swift Current has supported from the start. However, going forward, the city's mayor says there will be no further funding.
The city contributed $50,000 at the onset, and we shared with them that we would only be participating in capital, and so we did that. We also waive their taxes every year, which is a choice that this council's made, and so that's our contribution. That's the way we're able to contribute to that.
So no operational dollars then?
No, there won't be any operational dollars. They've met with us initially when it started, and that was before I joined as the mayor, and that was the message that was shared then, and it's shared now.
And as the future of Dorys House unfolds in the coming weeks, Southwest TV News will continue to follow this story. For over 12 years, Southwest TV News has provided the visuals for the defining moments in our community. Support your community and help us to continue our work. Support our sponsors by watching the ads on YouTube and by clicking the ads on our website. Pennies per click, which will help us continue to bring you the award-winning news coverage you've come to expect from Southwest TV News. Mark October 18th through 21st on your calendar and plan to attend the CCA Finals Rodeo in Swift Current. The top cowboys and cowgirls will compete in all of your favorite rodeo events, vying for the CCA Championship title. And wrap up your weekend with the CCA Finals Rodeo Cabaret featuring Sweet Tequila. Get your tickets now for the CCA Finals Rodeo, October 18th through 21st in Swift Current. The impending changes to the small business tax across the country continues to be in the spotlight, and Swift Current and area businesses are also talking about it. The federal government's proposed tax changes for small businesses continues to be the talk of the town. And as the deadline approaches for public consultation, the Swift Current Chamber of Commerce partnered with Myers Norris Penny for a noon-hour information session on the issue. Tracy O'Donnell is a partner with MNP and Swift Current and spoke to the crowd about the proposed changes and overall effects on various sectors, from those on the family farm to other small business operations.
They're implementing essentially a bit of a reasonability test in some of the payments that are coming out of the corporation, the use of the capital gains exemption, passive investments held within a corporation, and some of the transitions, intergenerational transfers of shares, and passing on the business to someone related to them. What we often see is potentially an estate freeze done on a company where we freeze mom and dad out, children potentially buy in, or the use of a family trust. Now, that strategy can still be used. However, there is now potential implications on the payment of dividends, income splitting to those family members and through the family trust.
And as small business owners, such as those in attendance, were urged to speak to their accountant about the proposed tax changes, the local Chamber of Commerce encourages everyone to be more vocal on the issue.
We as a chamber actually have prepared draft letters that attendees today can sign. We are happy to submit those to the federal government on their behalf. We do have a petition on our website that we encourage members to fill out. That's an e-petition that is being circulated for the House of Commons. And we encourage everyone, if they're wanting further information, we do have email addresses if they would like to email in their respective MPs.
More information on the proposed federal tax changes can be accessed through your local Chamber of Commerce.
I think everybody knows that both those events are very successful, and so what we're doing by bringing it here is we're building along the same thing and trying to develop and build a brand bigger.
The Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park is a popular destination for tourists throughout the summer months. Guests from around the world come to the park to be one with nature and enjoy the many amenities from camping, hiking trails, and more.
There's nothing quite so pretty as the hills that shouldn't be.
Mark October 18th through 21st on your calendar and plan to attend the CCA Finals Rodeo in Swift Current. The top cowboys and cowgirls will compete in all of your favorite rodeo events, vying for the CCA Championship title. And wrap up your weekend with the CCA Finals Rodeo Cabaret featuring Sweet Tequila. Get your tickets now for the CCA Finals Rodeo, October 18th through 21st in Swift Current. A crowd gathered at Mitchell Field for a historic event under the lights. Our Southwest TV News crew was there, and we bring you some of the highlights. The Fall Brawl was a first for Swift Current in Saskatchewan, as an amateur boxing event was held outdoors at a baseball field. Boxing fans gathered at Mitchell Field and Swift Current for an evening under the lights, bringing together the Victory Boxing Club and the Swift Current 57s for the Earl Muckman Memorial Boxing Card, honoring a man who volunteered with both clubs over the years.
Kind of changed how we do business a little bit. We're trying to be out in the public more and be involved, so this fit in. And then we went to the Field of Dreams with Brad Woods and said, can we make this work? So in the last 3 weeks to a month, we planned this and managed to pull it off. And never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that there was going to be a ring at home plate. You know, just something new.
Then when the 57s came and said, well, you know, your dad was a huge part of the 57s, and you know, and the Victory Boxing Club, you know, he started it and stuff. So they figured, let's get together and do this. So we did.
What do you think this would mean to your dad?
Oh, I think it'd mean a lot.
The showcase event included 6 bouts, with competitors as young as 8 years of age in the girls and boys division getting into the ring. To the adult class who continue to follow their passion for the sport. 20-year-old Dakota McFadden of Shaunavon used to play football, then switched his focus to boxing earlier this year. Now training out at the Victory Boxing Club in Swift Current, Dakota says he still has a lot to work on after losing this bout.
Hits really hard. He's faster than I thought he was, and I knew he would. He was a big, strong puncher. Knew he'd kind of sort of wear, but I just tried to keep pace with him, and then I started to come on strong. Wish it was a little bit longer, come on stronger, but no, it was a good fight either way. A close fight. Got to get better cardio, stuff like that, better technique, which all come with time in boxing.
While for other boxers like Jesse Kitchen of Swift Current, the fall brawl was one of excitement and great anticipation for this RBC employee by day.
I thought it started out all right. I got him a couple times early on, but in the end he just overpowered. He was a little bit stronger than I was, a little bit bigger. Gave her my all, but just wasn't quite enough.
Proceeds from the fall brawl will be shared between the Victory Boxing Club and the Swift Current 57s, with plans to once again partner in the future for other community events. Market Square is a summer tradition in downtown Swift Current, featuring live entertainment, fresh garden produce, crafts, and other unique vendors. Drop by Market Square every Saturday at the corner of Central and Chaplin. Proudly presented by the City of Swift Current, Standard Motors, Innovation Credit Union, and Southwest TV News. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.